What's up, y'all? Shoebooty Sports coming at you Thursday night. A couple of days late on this, but it's all good. Uh, Gives us a little time to, I guess, talk about a few more things in the sports world. A lot of it going on as we speak, and has already taken place tonight here Thursday night. College football has really kind of started to kick off this week. Of course, you had a couple of games last week we'll touch up on, but yeah, it's really starting this week. First, introduce ourselves. As you should know by now, this is your host, Graham Powell, co-host Bradley Brown.
That's me.
That's him. And we will give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. Sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit those results to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. All you need is a screenshot. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. Check is what I meant to say. I think an I got inserted in there. Check. But yeah, check out their gear section. T-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. Again, rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. Also, you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcast. The Wisdom app, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter at Shoebooty Sports. Okay, so currently going on as we speak, couple of games. UCF is destroying Kent State, by the way. So shout out to the Gus Bus. They're in Orlando. Where's UCF?
Yeah, we'll say Orlando.
It's like it's got to be Orlando. I think it's Orlando, UCF. Um, but yeah, they're off to a good start. Obviously, today it was 42-3 in the third quarter when I last checked.
Hey,
And yeah, I got here. I haven't been home very long. Turned the TV on. Kind of have an idea what I'm going to get from Florida, but not sure. And when I saw the score, the halftime score, 17-3 Utah, can't say I was surprised. Just more of the same from Florida, struggling against a formidable opponent in Utah, Pac-12 opponent. And yeah, I mean, and Utah's been in the Rose Bowl the last 2 years, lost both times, but
they've had a pretty good past couple of years, that's for
they've had
sure.
they've had a good past couple of years, just not in the Rose Bowl. Oh, if you're gonna rock those dope helmets though, like, and by dope I mean fire
With the
helmets,
road, yeah.
yeah, with the rose on it, I feel like you got to win at least one of them. Haven't done that, but yeah, maybe third time's the charm. I don't know. USC's probably gonna have a little something to say about that, but what's happened to Florida? I mean, since Urban Meyer, I mean, when I grew up, Florida was the team in the SEC. It's Alabama got a natty in '92. I wasn't really paying attention to college football then. I was 7, 8. But when I really started following college football, Florida was the team. Florida was the team in the SEC, and they were by a mile. It was Florida, top tier, and then there was everybody else. If you were playing Florida, you could pretty much chalk up a W for Spurrier. They took a dip after Spurrier left, of course, but Urban Meyer comes back, and then or comes back. Urban Meyer takes over and gets it pretty. I would say on the same level as Spurrier had it. Spurrier was there longer, I guess you could say. So it just felt like it was a more dominant run, even though Urban got he got one more natty than Spurrier did, 2 national championships in, was it 2 and 3 years? I believe it was two. Yeah, it was 2 and 3 years.
Yeah, they had a
So
chance at repeat. So
yeah, 2 and 3 years. A heck of a run. Florida was the team then, and then by I guess Tebow's senior year, Alabama had overcome them and beat them in the SEC championship game. And then that's been Alabama's spot ever since, minus these past couple of years with Georgia. But
yeah.
Florida has just steadily dipped ever since Urban Meyer left. And it's just been this constant. I don't want to say this constant decline. They've just kind of plateaued as a middle of the pack SEC program at this point in football, and that's weird.
Very weird.
It's weird with all those recruits in Florida. I know Miami's going to get some of them. I know Florida State's going to get some of them and have gotten some of them.
Yeah.
But still, it's Florida.
Don't forget UCF. They're probably getting
UCF is UCF is getting some too. I mean, Gus can recruit. Gus can coach. At least I think that's up for debate in Arkansas and Auburn territory. But you can't argue with Gus's record at Auburn, especially considering who replaced him. And yeah, I know there's plenty of places to go in Florida, but universities, that is, but it's still Florida at the end of the day. It's the Florida Gators. And they're supposed to be the team to beat in the East, not Georgia. It's weird.
More talent, or you think it's more coaching?
It's both. They don't have the same level of talent. Anthony Richardson, I mean, he was a freak athlete, but his numbers weren't that good, and he was very inconsistent throughout last season. Had a great first game, beating Utah. I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was. They played Utah last year, and the Gators beat them. And Anthony Richardson had a game, but he didn't match that the rest of the year. That performance, you just saw that kind of greatness in spurts. And by greatness, I mean you could just playmaking ability. Yeah. The coaching isn't there. The coaching's not there. The talent level isn't there. Recruiting hasn't been what it used to be. It's just not the same program anymore. Georgia has taken that spot, and they've not only taken that spot, they've taken that spot and jumped another step up. They have jumped a spot above Alabama. Now we'll see what happens this year, but I mean, Georgia's had the number one recruiting class, I think 2-3 years in a row. And that's including this year. Alabama's right behind them, but it's going to be a big showdown if it happens. We didn't get to see it last year in the SEC championship game. Tennessee ruined that, and I can't even remember the other team that beat Alabama at this point. But yeah, was it LSU? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, Brian Kelly.
Yep.
My family.
Yep.
That was never going to get old to me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happened to Florida. You can certainly fix it, but you got to get the right guy in there. I don't know that Billy Napier's the guy, but it's still early. I just don't know if they're going to have the patience to let him build.
I don't think the mediocrity is going to last long. I mean, surely within 2 to 3 seasons, they'll be out of this slump, you would think.
It's been like this for a while, though. This isn't anything new. I mean, this has been Florida for the last more than several years now. I mean, Arkansas beat them when we went to go see them in 20 whatever.
That was a rowdy game.
17.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of that season for, I think, that team that eventually went like 7-6 and blew their last 2 games. That started Bielema's downfall, but that was really that Arkansas team's last good performance. And we said, I remember leaning over to you during that game and saying, how is it that the University of Florida, can't get a quarterback? I think it was Luke Del Rio, as Jack Del Rio's kid was the quarterback. Yep. He was just, overthrowing guys left and right throughout the game. That's just what I was thinking. How is it that the University of Florida can't find a quarterback? But they've been that team since throughout that time. I mean, they've been nothing special. They've had some big wins here and there, but nothing consistent, nothing like we're used to seeing. And it can certainly be turned around, but you got to get the right guy in there to do it. I don't know if this is the right guy based on what we've seen in, the first half. I haven't seen any of the game, but I don't need to. I see the score. Florida scores points. They're supposed to score points. They've got 3 at halftime, down 17-3 at Utah. Are they at Utah or are they in the swamp?
No, they're at Utah.
Okay. It shouldn't matter either way. Florida's supposed to score points. Spurrier built the brand to score points. Urban Meyer scored points. Florida's got to score points. They brought in, gosh, who was it? They brought in to, was it Jim McElwain? Yeah, it was Jim McElwain. I remember they brought him in from Alabama to fix the offense, and they
The
were
guy
as
who
bad.
posed with the fish.
The guy that what?
The guy who posed with the fish.
Yeah, that guy. Another sign that he wasn't the guy for the job there. If I would have seen that, I would have ran with it. I would have been like, yeah, that was totally me because it wasn't him. It just looked, it was his doppelganger. And I mean, it looked just like him. And he had
Yeah.
this serious press conference about how that wasn't him and all this stuff. I was like, dude, have fun with that. Loosen up a little bit. Be like, yeah, that's totally me. Especially, I mean, things weren't going well for him, and maybe that had a lot to do with the response. But I mean, come on, man, have fun with it. I would have, but it's yeah. The offense was as bad as it could be when he was there. I mean, I remember they lost some like 9-6 games or something like that, or I know that they had only scored 6 in some, but yeah, it's this isn't looking any better so far. I know it's one game, but still, it's you. You're not getting cupcakes in the SEC. So if this doesn't go well, Florida this season, it's gonna that seat's gonna get hot in a hurry. They're in the swamp. It can be fixed. You just got to get the right guy to do it.
Yeah. Well, what would you think if Petrino put up some good numbers at A&M and then Florida continues their slump and Florida called on Petrino? What would that be like? That'd be scary, wouldn't it?
It would be good for
Not good
Florida
for yeah, not good for really anybody else, but good for
because
Florida.
that's the
I
thing.
hope that doesn't.
No, I hope it doesn't either. I was thrilled when Chip Kelly decided he was going to go to Los Angeles as opposed to Gainesville. That was I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see Chip Kelly take the Florida job. But when he said I'm gonna stick to the Pac-12, I was like, whew. Yeah, he might not have wanted to deal with recruiting here in the South. I don't know what his mindset was. He just uh more familiar base there on the West Coast Pac-12. But yeah, I was thrilled when he decided not to take that job. Petrino to Florida would be yeah, that would be great news for Florida. That would be terrible news for everybody else in the SEC. Let me throw another one at you. Um, I don't know that it'll happen. I think the Petrino one is more likely to happen because of the success he had at Arkansas. I mean, he ended on a high note. I know his departure wasn't anything pretty, but he ended on as high of a note as you could. I mean, just
Mhm.
a steady progression, go from 5-7 to 11-2 in a 4-year span, top 5 finish, national ranking. Yeah, that's impressive. And to see what he did against Arkansas at Missouri State last year, and if he lights it up at A&M, yeah, I'm if I'm the Florida Boosters, I'm taking a serious look at that. We could go get this proven coach who's proven he can win in this league at Arkansas. What's he going to do with Florida?
Yeah.
But I skipped it, but I was going to say uh the other possibility, Malzahn. You're
Yeah.
I know that's the reaction, and a lot of Florida fans would probably say that because it's like, well, Auburn let him go. Why would we hire him? But you see what he's doing at UCF, at least right now. That that means something. I mean, we saw what Lane Kiffin did at FAU, turning that around. So that opened up a door in a hurry, to take an SEC job. It could happen for Malzahn too. But the Petrino one is very intriguing. Something to keep an eye on. I think those two schools in particular, See
Fingers
you.
crossed it doesn't happen. Yeah, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. But I mean, it'd be great for Petrino, great for Florida, but not great for everybody else, especially for us as Arkansas fans. But okay, let's. All right, yeah, we've got college football games from now to Monday. I mean,
Thank
so
God.
we are in college football season. I did
Life is good.
catch I did catch the Notre Dame Navy game
Yeah.
last Saturday. How much of that did you watch, if any, and your thoughts?
And we probably paid attention to it until like midway through the second quarter. Like I was
Who's
hoping
who's
just for
we?
something entertaining. I was down in Florida staying with Luke, our buddy
Okay.
Luke. So
How long were you
we're all
there?
excited for about 6 days. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, and if you're gonna
yeah.
go make the trip, might as well stay for a bit. All right.
Luckily hurricane missed us. But yeah, we're drinking some beers, watching the game, hoping for something, just slightly competitive. And it wasn't. So we kind of lost interest pretty fast. And yeah, I don't think we watched it after halftime.
It was interesting for two drives because the
Yeah.
triple option, because just the contrast in styles was neat. That's what I really wanted to see. Just uh, Notre Dame getting a quarterback that's thrown 100+ touchdowns and being able to throw it around, and the triple option Navy team. Just seeing that contrast in styles, I wanted to see how it would work. Navy ran it as well as they run that offense as well as they can. They've done it forever. But yeah, Notre Dame was clearly better and had sniffed that out, and it took them a couple of series, but once they figured out how to defend it, yeah, there was no chance for Navy. Now, Notre Dame is the significantly more talented team. Played in Dublin, Ireland, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was neat. So it was really hard to gauge, judge how Notre Dame is probably going to look this year against other opponents, tougher opponents. But just from what I saw on the field, Notre Dame's run game looked really good. The passing game looked very good. But what made all that possible, what stood out to me that made that offense go was that offensive line. That offensive line, I know it's Navy, but man, they were stout. I mean, the running backs were averaging looked like 10 yards a carry. And they've got a good back. They've got a good lead back, and they've got some good backs. And the quarterback can play, Sam Hartman. But that offensive line made things go, and that's going to be tough. That's going to be that's going to make things difficult for opposing defenses throughout the year. And that's one thing Notre Dame always does. They have linemen. Yeah, they always have some great lineman or tight end coming out every few years. No different this year. That'll be the same this year.
That quarterback looked pretty good though. I'd say he's
Uh,
got his campaign started off on the right leg for sure.
yeah, he's a veteran guy. I mean, he's 24 years old, I think, which is.
Dang. He's probably got a 401k already.
But see, I mean, there's plenty of guys like that now. There's plenty of 6-year guys right now because getting that extra year of COVID, the
True.
COVID season. So he's not going to be the only one. There's a good handful of these guys that are, leading programs that are at the quarterback position that are about 24 years old. Stetson Bennett last year. So this is a normal thing right now. So yeah, veteran quarterback, 4 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean he's proven it at Wake Forest. He did it at Wake Forest. What's he going to do at Notre Dame? That's definitely on the Heisman watch right now.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. He actually has a piece of his rib that had to be removed as a necklace, which
Is
that's,
that
that's
what that
pretty
was?
pretty sweet.
Yeah, I don't think I had the volume up very high. I saw them showing the necklace. I was like, that's a weird looking necklace. Like, why is that? Why are they showing that? So I completely missed that. But yeah, that's interesting. Pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Notre Dame's going to be one of those teams to watch this year. Okay, so Arkansas, our Razorbacks play at Little Rock Saturday, War Memorial Stadium. Game got bumped down to
And then
noon, so I'm gonna have to find a way to get ESPN Plus. I think I have a hookup on that, so I'm gonna look into that so I'll be able to watch the game. But Western Carolina, all right, let's give a score prediction on that. I'll let you go first. Noon
uh
game.
45-17 Arkansas.
That's a good guess. Giving Cam Little a field goal. Dang, that's a good guess. I like that. I'm gonna go. Ooh, I'm gonna go. Gosh, that's a good guess. I like that score prediction. I will. Yeah, dang. I will go. I'll go 49. No, 42. I'm gonna go 42. 42 20. 42-20 Razorbacks.
Okay.
Because that defense, Drew Sanders isn't there, and they looked as bad as you could look in the bowl game last year. I know we had a lot of guys missing for that, but I don't know how you make up for that. And of course, the secondary was really banged up, but man, they were ones that were out there were bad. Minus gosh, McAdoo. And is he okay? I know he had a big injury like in the off
Yeah,
season. What, car
I
wreck or
don't know.
something? What was it?
I think it was, yeah, I think it was involved in an accident, but I think he should be good to go. So,
Yeah, Quincy McAdoo, the true freshman from Clarendon, who switched from receiver to corner, and I mean looked like a really good DB for us. And yeah, I hope he's all right. Hope he can play. Hope he's ready to go. I mean, that's if you're banged up playing corner, man, that you can't afford to be slowed down by anything. So
yeah.
hopefully
Yeah,
he's all
Western
right.
Carolina. I was going to say Western Carolina is like 0-20 versus SEC teams and like 0-60 versus FBS. So,
I wish you
hopefully
hadn't
we get
said that.
I wish I went and read it on Twitter today, but
Well, you didn't have to
I was
repeat it here. Now
hey,
we're gonna
I'm
get all
just
kinds
spitting
of hate
facts.
tweets. We're gonna get all
No,
kinds of hate tweets when we blow it.
what the heck, man? You're saying we're gonna blow it?
I'm it's Arkansas. It's the Arkansas Razorbacks. We lost to Liberty last year.
Sure.
It's it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially in
It's
week
not.
one.
It's not.
I could throw out all kinds of hypotheticals where this scenario could be a thing. I'm not going to because I'm not going to speak it into existence. But as long as I'll just say this, as long as KJ and Rocket Sanders are healthy, we've got a chance. What are the numbers you predict for KJ and Rocket Sanders, passing yards, touchdowns, and
I
rushing yards and touchdowns?
think KJ will probably have about 250 in the air, probably 50 to 60 on the ground with about 3 touchdowns. Rocket Sanders will have somewhere around 150 yards. Probably one of them going to be a long screen pass that goes for a ways. He'll probably have 2 touchdowns. That'd be my guess.
I'm going to say 121 yards for Rocket Sanders rushing. I'm going to give him. I'm going to say 2 touchdowns. I feel good about that. We'll say KJ. I'm with you. I think he's around that 250 mark. I'll say 247, just so we don't completely agree. I'll say 247, 2 touchdowns through the air, and he's going to rush for one too. He'll have about 67 yards on the ground,
Okay.
rushing touchdown. So
And
predictions
hopefully they're out
there.
of the game by the third quarter.
Hopefully, uh, KJ stayed out there a little too long in some games, which didn't. It made no sense to me the way Pittman would manage some games last season. He'd take the foot off the gas way too early in in a couple of games. the bowl game being one, the Ole Miss game being the first that really sticks out to me.
Yeah.
But keep that aggression. If you want to do it with a different unit, do that. But keep that aggression. Don't lose that. Don't. I mean, he's an offensive line coach, man. I mean, you got to have some more grit. When it comes to something like that. Don't take your foot off their throat. Don't take your foot off the pedal. Hammer down and
No,
finish
we
it.
don't do that here. We don't do that here anymore. We got rid of his ass. We don't
Yes,
hammer
we
down.
did. Yes, we did. But we never had a lead either, so we couldn't really use it. But yes, you're correct in that. We don't need to speak anything from that era. Um, but yeah, don't give in. Don't give in.
No
Um,
mercy.
no mercy. If you want, like I said, if you want to do it with a different unit, fine. And what I was getting at was, even though we take our foot off the gas some last season, like KJ would still be out there like running the ball.
Yeah.
I think it was the Ole Miss. It might have been the Ole Miss game where he took a big hit, big awkward hit at the end of the game. Like, why is he still out there running the ball? Made no sense. But yeah, if you want to do it with a different unit, do that. Throw Jacoby Criswell out there. Let's see what he can do. Especially in a game like this, if you got the lead on them early, get those guys out of there, because it's going to be the way KJ plays. It's going to be, I mean, that's how he's most effective, but you want to keep him healthy through whatever it is, 12 regular season games. But yeah, that's a score prediction there. Let's jump to pro football for a little bit. Have you looked up anything on or seen anything on the Aaron Rodgers and the Giants linebacker situation, the beef back and forth during a play?
I actually got to catch up on all the hard knocks last week or this past week while I was in Florida. So yes, I did get to see that. I thought it was hilarious. Where he said, "I don't even know who you are." But I mean, I thought it was funny. But he knows
Yeah,
exactly who Rogers is, though.
well, of course he does. I mean, he can't think of anything to come back with that, so that's his response. They ESPN. I don't know why I get on that website still. Sometimes they had a whole article on this guy explaining himself why he did it, and he didn't like Hard Knocks portrayal of it. Well, no kidding. Like,
Yeah.
you looked foolish in it. I haven't seen the episode, but I have seen that clip. I need to watch that episode. Might do that tonight. We'll see. But yeah, from what I saw in the play, Aaron Rodgers was right, and reacted the same way I would in that situation. So kudos to him. I didn't know who the guy was either. So
Yeah. Anybody did it twice. I mean, after Rogers released the ball, I mean, hell, he took 4 to 5 steps and gave him a push. I mean,
you
he was
you
right.
don't do
Show some
that.
respect.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't do that anyway, but you definitely don't do it to Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to make you pay for it. And he did. What, he threw a touchdown a couple of plays later
Yeah.
to Garrett
Garrett
Wilson.
Wilson, my number 2 draft pick.
Okay, so you've already had your fantasy draft.
Yeah. Actually, it's my number. He might have been my number 1, but we're playing a keeper league, so it's a little different.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him in the first round, but I wouldn't think. But that's going to be the big pick
Yeah.
in fantasy football leagues this year. He's the guy that everybody's expecting something from. Um, I don't know who that person was last year. You could say it was. I don't know that it was. I wouldn't say it was. No, it wasn't like a Russell Wilson, even though you expected better than what you got. But yeah, Garrett Wilson is he's projected to be the breakout guy this season, and rightfully so. You saw what Devontae Adams was with Aaron Rodgers, as good of a wideout as you could get, pretty much. And Garrett Wilson could be that guy, for the Jets. We will see. I'm gonna take him if the opportunity is there and it makes sense. I will do it then. When should you have your fantasy football draft? When is a good time to do it? because
Right after
historically,
preseason is over.
yeah, you want to do it after all that's done. And
Yeah.
it preseason is over, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get in the league then and probably do it this weekend. I was going to do it this weekend regardless. One, it's a holiday weekend, don't work Monday. Two, I wanted to go ahead and have it before next show
Yeah.
because yeah, we only got a 4-day break now, so give us a little something to talk about there. I wanted to do all that before next week's show. But okay, how many leagues are you in this year? Weren't you in like 3 last year?
I was in, yeah, technically four, but yeah, I was in
Oh
three,
gosh, that's
three
crazy.
normal ones and one daily, one daily pick. So it was like you pick a new team every week, which I believe I'm only in two this season. I left one of the league's champion, so I'm good with that. So yeah, I think it's just down to two this season.
Well, as I've said on this show, said it all last year, and I've said it, before years past. I do one league. One, that's all I have time and energy for. Two, I don't want to watch a game and then be
Oh, dude,
rooting for a
it's
play, and then at the same time being like, oh no, but I'm playing him. Like he's on my team, but I'm playing. It's too much for me. Just give me one league to focus on. Now I did that last year, and I had as bad of a season as I pretty much ever had in fantasy, or pretty close to it. Not as bad as my worst, but it was bad, and I lost interest. That's the only reason I joined a fantasy basketball league was because I needed something to look forward to because football was done. My team was terrible. Took Josh Allen too high and he disappointed, had a disappointing year, threw a ton of interceptions. Yeah, and just I don't know, just I just had a trash team. So
yeah.
I'm still gonna do that. I'm still gonna stick with one league because that's all I have the time and energy for. But hopefully it just goes a lot better and it's more enjoyable this time around.
Yeah, public service announcement. If you are in two leagues and you even thinking about joining a third league, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's maddening. You feel like a psycho. Just don't do it.
It's too much. It's too
Too much.
much. I don't have that kind of time and energy. I can put all my energy into one team and feel really good about my chances. I'm like, okay, I'm at least prepared going into this matchup this week. If I have 3 teams, there's no way. I mean, there's no way that can happen. And I'll divvy it up. I'd feel like I'm giving too much attention to this one team. I need to go pay attention to this other, and I can't put all my focus there. I don't have time for that. I can't do that.
And
That
have winning records in all three of them.
yeah, that wouldn't happen for me. I've done that before because I have proof of this. Like been that guy before. I've been in 3 leagues before. I'm like, oh, the more I'm in, the better chances I have of winning a league. And that didn't work for me. I'd have a mediocre team in one, and then I'd have a below average team in another, and then a terrible team in the other. I think I went like you know 3-13 or 2-14 in one league that year, my worst one. So yeah, that was a bad year, at least in that league. All right, so okay, who did you take first, and who's number one on the draft board? I'm just curious about that.
My keeper, or the keeper is pretty much your first round. You keep whoever pretty much your best player on your last year's team was, and you look at all the other teams. It's a 14 team league, by the way. You look at all the other players and you figure out what they're going to keep. And so you pretty much, I had to keep Travis Kelsey. He's listed in the top 10. I think he's like number 8 or something. So I had to keep him because if I would have went for a keeper, I would have technically had like 8 people pick before me, and I wouldn't have got him anyways.
No,
So
definitely not.
I would have
Um,
got him. I would have
but
been worse off.
but who is number one on like the board? Like who is the number one guy in the pre-draft rankings?
Oh man, I couldn't tell you. Like
You can't even tell me. Because I was trying to think of that today. I was
it's a
like, who even would
receiver.
it be?
It's a receiver.
Is it really?
I believe so. Don't be drafting running backs in the first 2 rounds, boys and girls. It doesn't pay off.
But hasn't the rule always been draft a running back first round?
If you're in a league with 2 running backs, go ahead. But my league is only 1 running back and 2 wide receivers. So
Interesting. I haven't seen a league like that. Yeah, I've always been in leagues with 2 running backs. So
yeah, if you
interesting.
do that, go for it.
But there just aren't many feature backs
no,
anymore.
no, it's going to be few and far in between. So if they're there and they're in the top projected in the top 10 or 15, go ahead and get them. But other than that, you could just find value later on in round 3 or 4. So
Yeah, I know my team was absolute trash last year, so I come off as I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I have won 2 fantasy championships in football. So dang it.
I
So
can't even keep count of how many I've won.
okay, well, people can listen to you more, but you've also been in 10,000 leagues a year, so there's that. But I've also admitted that that doesn't go well for me. So all right. So listen to Brad on some or most of this, y'all, if you want to. We'll see how the season goes, then we'll go from there for each of our teams. We'll keep y'all updated. Okay, I wanted to touch up on some volleyball real quick. Before I started the show, I turned the TV on. I saw Arkansas was playing the #1 team in the country in volleyball, Wisconsin at Barnhill in Fayetteville.
For the
Uh,
second night in a row.
they played last night too.
Yep, and almost won.
What was the match?
3-2 was the match, and they
Really?
lost.
Wow.
Yeah, and they took them all the way pretty much. So good
Yeah,
job, Hogs.
yeah, I didn't know that they played last night. I saw that they played tonight. I turned it on. They lost in 3 games. They lost the match in 3 games, but that's the #1 team in the country. And I saw that Arkansas is ranked 21st, like 21st in the country. So I don't know what's happened, but yeah, shout out to the coach. I mean, apparently they got somebody there that can recruit, and yeah, that's because Arkansas, there's no history here in volleyball. When I was a reporter and we covered, we covered it. Um, all the good teams were in Northwest or Northeast Arkansas. Now they had some powers there, but that was the only programs that were worth anything at the high school level in volleyball, except for the private schools in Central Arkansas, like the Little Rock Christians, the Little Rock Christian Academy, or Pulaski Academy. So volleyball isn't like a big thing around the state, but it's good to see that. Also, crazy about the Nebraska volleyball attendance. It's apparently a big deal in Nebraska. Had 92,003 fans watching the 5-time NCAA champion Nebraska volleyball team beat in-state Omaha 3-0 in their match. What was it? Was it yesterday, a couple days ago? Pretty
Is
cool to
yesterday
see. Yeah, I was gonna say that's
had a
that's
third
amazing.
had a third of their population show up for that game.
I mean
Pretty
that's
awesome.
wild. I would have
Yeah.
loved to have been there for that just to see that kind of atmosphere, and especially at outdoors. Super neat. So pretty cool for them. But we'll touch up on more next week. We're out of time. We'll see y'all next week. This is Graham Powell.
For the Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.
Go Hogs.